Hello and welcome. This is the Hustle Over Everything podcast. Man, today we have some good lessons, tips. I'm excited. It's going to be a great pod. Welcome back to the Hustle Over Everything podcast once again. I'm Alex.
And I'm your main man, Owen Osinde.
And today we have Christina Gwira on the show. Man, I'm excited today. So, the Hustle Over Everything podcast is a show where we showcase stories, tips, and celebrating the journey to success. On this podcast, today we have a great guest for you. We have Christina Gwira. She's going to go through her digital design firm and so much more on this podcast. So, Christina, who's Christina Gwira? She is a WordPress web designer. And she's also the CEO and founder of Noya Designs, that team that does website, content, and social media marketing. Owen, what do you think of the pod?
Yo, this pod, Alex, was like one of those ones like, it kind of like bruised my ego a little bit.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, it was for a good cause though, like it was, of course, Christina, she's built a lot of websites for herself and clients. Mm-hmm. So, when we got into the pod and we're asking her to give us feedback on our website, I mean, I've done...
Let's break it down. Let's give it some context.
Okay.
So in this pod today, guys, we got Christina Gwira to give us a website tear down, right?
Yes.
So, man, where should we start?
I don't even... Where's a good place to start from?
Where's a good place to start? All right, so we started with giving her a quick tour of our website. Mm-hmm. And man, the way she reacted was crazy. Listen, I'll put it like this. We made ourselves vulnerable and put ourselves on the line to make sure that you guys have a good podcast so you guys can learn what makes a good website, what makes a bad, or shall I say, boring website. Yes. In the Shakespearean terms, we got our ass put together. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I said that wrong. I said that horribly.
Yo, she straightened us out.
She got she got us together.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. She got us together, fam. And it was a lot. But honestly, it was good because like our plans aligned with what she was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Of, me putting my creative design more into the podcast, and me adding more creatives to the pod. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And it kind of like showed us like what we're going for and kind of like aligned with, what our goals are and what we're trying to go. So it's a confirmation.
And the thing is, man, is like, before you coming on board, I had put in my heart and soul in that website. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You coming on, you saw the website. I mean, I've grinded that whole thing for like a year. Mm-hmm. So the logo, the merch and everything. So having that outside perspective was very eye-opening in a sense. It's like, the one thing I really appreciate about Christina, she has no filter, and as someone who likes to talk with no filter and get people out with no filter, when it's returned to you, you actually kind of get a taste of your own medicine. You know what I'm saying? So her as a person who just speaks like the way it was just kind of like, man, I never knew that about the website that I designed originally, because I kind of walk into it like thinking, yo, this is the best thing I've ever made. It's dope. It's sleek. It's whatever. But to like a visitor, she thinks it's like boring. And I was like, like, how's this boring? So it made me question, am I delusional? Do I know what good design is?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the things that she was talking about are some ideas that we wanted to do, like taking photos of our own product and having models on our own thing, which we can because we have all the product here with us. But it definitely made sense. I would give her that. Even the name is strong, the brand is strong, but we need to communicate that much more clearly and place brand elements that communicate our brand properly. Not just having a sleek website, but what is that hustle over everything? Is it rugged? Is it tough? Is it urban and street? Or is it sleek and modern? These are the things that we need to talk about and find the elements to properly communicate that. But overall, it's something that we needed to hear. And Al, bro, like this is how you grow, right? You never stay static in business. You're always evolving. You're like a baby. You start small and you grow over the years and you enter maturity in your 10, 15, whatever. But you got to start from these little baby steps, man.
That's a fact. That's a real big fact. Pardon me. Yeah, going through this pod, man, listening back to it, it was at first it was tough to listen to, then it was like funny to listen to because
Mhm.
the bluntness and how it comes off as what do you think? It's and like and having it just completely go off was great. It was refreshing to hear because a lot of times people will baby you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They don't want to hurt your feelings, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah. And
know?
one thing that I've heard a lot of people do when they're trying to pitch ideas is to pitch it as somebody else's idea, so you get a more honest reaction. You know, because a
Hmm.
lot of times when you talk to somebody about what you're doing, they treat it like it's a baby, and no one wants to call a baby ugly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
At Max, I have a little hack. If a baby's ugly, I'm like, yo, that baby's precious. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? So it's my way of saying it's an ugly baby, but I ain't gonna call it ugly. You know, it's a
Oh man.
you know what I'm
Sometimes
saying?
you see a baby, you're like, damn, that's a big head. But you can't say that's a big head, you know, like
Exactly.
you
You
just
can't say it's a
cannot.
big
You
head.
can't say it's a big head. That's a mom with a newborn. She just had it. Like that's the most delicate, precious, lovely thing to her at that time. You're not, she's gonna like hate you for that. It's like calling her ugly because that's her baby.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people recognize that entrepreneurs put their value into their business, you
Hmm.
know. So once they recognize that, they don't want to say anything to diminish that person's value, right?
Hmm.
So with that in mind, they're like, all right, let me take it easy. Let me give you the high pitch answer. I think it's okay. You know, like
Hmm.
they wanna be, you know, they don't want to give you that honest critique feedback and getting that is valuable. It's valuable, man. It's a good lesson. A lot of times people want to, you know, somewhat code switch or be nice about it, and the honesty gives more value there versus someone being like, "Oh, I think it's great," and then actually coming back and be like, "No, I think it's shit." You know.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. I think it was a great pod. It was a lot of gems in there. We covered a lot too. Like, we covered family. We covered therapy,
We
anxiety. Go
we
ahead.
covered like a lot, man. Even just starting a business and from scratch and employing your own family. I think those are a lot of great values that I took from it. And what I really appreciate about Christina is that she's very, what is it? She honors her family. She honors her roots, and she stands for what she believes in. You know, like I'm gonna build a business in Brampton. I'm gonna stay in Brampton. I'm gonna employ my family to come work for me, and give them jobs. And it's
Yep.
building a business for her family, her lineage, which is great, which is the things we strive for. So it's awesome seeing her as a Black woman too, doing it big. Props to
Yep.
her, man.
Yeah, props to her and her family. You know, shout out to Sarah as well. I know we communicated previously about running some ads together and stuff like that as well. So shout out to their whole family. You know, it's good to see a Black entrepreneurial family. You really get to
Hmm.
see that, you know, and you really get to see this a story of a father passing down a company to a daughter. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that whole debacle and that whole like messy area that sometimes happens. You know,
Hmm.
so it was a great story on my end. So I'm really excited to get into it. All right. So with that being said, let's hop into our business tip of the week, our biz tip of the week. All right. So this time I want to talk about sales. And with sales, there's something I want to focus on specifically, and that is a CRM. So what's a CRM? It's a customer relationship management. It's a tool that people use for sales, how to log communications. You know, a lot of times when you see someone that you haven't seen in a long time, you miss everything going on with them. Like, hey, Bill, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? To keep it at a high level, if you don't know what a CRM is, it's basically managing that relationship with somebody that you want to sell to, that you want to keep a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? And with that, there's a few tools that you should use to keep your business going forward. You know, a lot of people still have Excel spreadsheets that they use to stay in touch with people. A lot of people still use like Word docs to go through their phone and just scroll through their phone. It makes no sense, guys. Come on. That's Bush League stuff. Let's get on to a CRM where you can properly measure how many people you're contacting, how many people you're getting to receive uh, quotes, consultations, and measure your success. What doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. You know, so your sales is your business. So you got to take advantage of that and apply yourself. CRM is one of the key ways you can apply yourself to your business effectively. Now, let's go through some CRMs. I have 5 in mind. From a low cost standpoint to a high cost enterprise standpoint. On a low cost standpoint, there's Less Annoying CRM, literally called Less Annoying CRM. It's very low cost. On the higher end, in the mid tier, there's Zoho and HubSpot. My personal favorite out of this whole list I'm going to talk to you about is HubSpot. It's free. It's good for the small to medium-sized business, and it just gives a lot. It has an email marketing software inside of it. Zoho has a lot of the same capabilities, so this is not a free ad, by the way. Like I'm saying, we're just giving you true, raw honesty when it comes to business advice because you want to give you guys the most value. So yeah, HubSpot. We're using HubSpot. We're literally adapting to HubSpot and going full force in. And a lot of our guests use HubSpot as well. Why I like it. Some features that are good on it is the chat feature, where if someone comes to your website, you can install a chat in the bottom right-hand corner. People think is a real person, but it's a bot. And they talk to it, and you can have them enter all their information on your website, and then you can contact them in the future. And it's a really seamless way to keep conversations going. Another one that's good is Keep. Keep has a lot of features that are built for the entrepreneur, but it is really expensive. The most robust out of all of them is Salesforce. Salesforce is for that like enterprise business. You know, they don't even pitch on an individual standpoint. They've pitched at a like entrepreneur enterprise standpoint where they're like the starting price per user is $25 because it's more of an entrepreneurial standpoint. Some things to consider is how you're measuring people that come into each standpoint of your sales process. All right, so you reach out to 10 people. Out of the 10 people, how many people convert to the next step of, hey, yeah, I want to learn more. You put them into the learn more box. And this is going back into like the sales funnel of how you get a sale, because this is a sales-based platform. Then from that point, how do you get them all the way through to a sale? You know, this is what CRMs do, and this is what you should use CRMs for. So that's the business tip of the week. Focus on your CRMs that you use to reach out to clients, reach out to sales, and grow your business. Now let's get into the Hustle Nation.
Boom, bro. Before we get into Hustle Nation, man, I want to add to that. Not add to that, but I just want to make some commentary. I love what you said. What doesn't get measured gets lost. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't get managed, yeah.
Exactly, doesn't get managed, right? So I think that's a great tip, man. Like if you don't manage your contacts, the people you talk to, the emails you sent, if you got to send up a follow-up message, your business is going to be like all over the place. So it's like good to have a streamlined process just to make sure where everything is. And it also allows you to compartmentalize your thoughts. Like who got to reach out today? What are my leads? Who are my contacts? Who do I have to reach out for a new contract, or I got to renew that client that I have? I do Facebook ads for them, you know. That's how you really build a business, just managing your contacts and everything. So big ups, bro.
No problem, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everything you said was a spot on, man. You need to measure your contacts and measure how well you're reaching out at a efficient rate, you know. So yeah,
absolutely, guys, bro. So let's get into Hustle Nation.
Let's do it.
So Hustle Nation, man, listen up. You know, as I've reflected this week, one of the things that have really gotten me through, you know, just like clearing my thoughts and removing cloudy thinking is just meditation. So I know we're called the Hustle Over Everything podcast, and, you know, we really advocate for the hustle above all else. You know, having that hustle over everything mentality is very, very important. But one thing we also got to talk about is burnout and fatigue, which is we don't talk about in hustle culture. You must watch Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, all these people on YouTube who advocate for the same message we're advocating. But I really want to take this time and, you know, take a pause for the cause to advocate for meditation. I've really started meditating for close to a month now, you know, wrapping up on the 31st consistently every single day. And I cannot tell you the wonders it has done for me. Getting the habit, as I spoke about last week, getting in habits. I've gotten in the habit of meditating for 15 minutes daily every morning. And I cannot stress how important this has been. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is look at your phone, read your tweets, do whatever you want to do. But guys, when you wake up and meditate for 15 minutes, just sit and think and do nothing and just really meditate and just clear your thinking, it really does wonders. What it does, it unifies your thoughts, it clears your mind, and it puts you in a positive state of mind, which is what you want to do when you want to start your day. When you start your day on a wrong side, it really ends up spiraling all over the place. You see a stressful message, you see something you got to do, or you got to rush out the door, you got to get ready. These things build up and it just sets the precedence for your day. So once you take a moment each morning just for stillness and just thinking, it really helps you out. One of the apps that I've been using is called Calm. If you're not familiar with it, it's an app you can download from the Apple App Store or the Android Play Store. And they have a lot of different features in there that can help you like meditate. You can do it like early morning meditations. There's even a LeBron one, which I love. I got to start that one as well. But I've been doing like a 7-day meditation each and every week. So this has really helped me. It has made me a lot more happier. I mean, I'm a very happy person, but this has taken it to a different level. I don't have any anxiety. Oh, I got to do this task. I got to do that. Or I forgot to do that. I feel like everything is just clicking together. And this is just from meditating from the very start of the day. And it allows me to think very precisely about everything without doubt or any hesitation. So guys, still keep hustling, still keep doing your thing, but just take a moment out of your day for stillness. Stillness is so important. And as an entrepreneur, you need to be still to really think of ideas, to stay creative, to stay on top, to manage your business, your projects, clients, whatever it is you got to do. You need to have a right mindset to do it. And if you just consume yourself with a hustle 24/7 every single day, you will burn out. But take a minute to think, be still, and gain some clarity. I call it taking a pause from the cause. So you just take a pause from the cause and just do it and get back on the grind. So that is the Hustle Nation tip of the week. Check out Calm. They have free modules on there that you can indulge yourself in to start out, but definitely take this serious because meditation is key and you're going to be refreshed every single day that you wake up. So that is the Hustle Nation tip of the week, man.
And with that being said, let's get into the call to actions, the housekeeping items.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so guys, if you're on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, make sure to write a review about the podcast. Real quick, I'm just gonna scroll over and talk to this. Man, I'm so thankful. I am so thankful. All right, so Ak from London, AK from LDN. Thank you for commenting on our podcast. Also, Bak Chow, thank you for commenting and rating our podcast. Appreciate you. Make sure to comment and rate the podcast on Apple iTunes. Guys, it makes a huge difference. Really, please go and rate it. If you're on Spotify, make sure to follow us and download the episode. If you're on Google Play, hit subscribe and auto download so you'll be notified and have a fresh pod ready to go. And if you're on Instagram, make sure you share us in your stories. Take a screenshot and share it in your stories. Don't mess up your feed. You worked hard on it, getting it all color coordinated. So just take a quick little screenshot and tag us in it and we'll repost you. On Twitter, hit us up at 24/7 Hustlers. That's with an S, 24/7 Hustlers. On Facebook, we're Hustle Over Everything. On our website, we're hustleovereverything.co. That's where you can purchase merch, like the hat I'm always wearing, or the sweater you can see Owen in. One thing to do while you're on the website as well is to visit our newsletter. Sign up and realize that it will be delivered every Monday. It is called the 247 Hustle, which covers news and business, music, and culture, all through the lens of entrepreneurship. It's actually really interesting. And also, we have donations, guys. Our Proud to Pay program. Hit the link in the description below and support the podcast. It really helps us out. Thank you, guys. Now let's get into the show. Let's get into the show.
Let's get into the show, bro.
Let's do it. Christina, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
All right, so let's jump right in. One thing I noticed about you that's very commendable is that you rep Brampton really hard.
Yes, I do. I really do. Because, everybody in the Greater Toronto area, wait, hold on. Let's go back. Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
Go right ahead.
Okay, cool. So everyone in the Greater Toronto area always shits on us. And it's I understand, we're trying, okay? So that's the main reason why I rep Brampton super hard. That's why I made sure my office was in the city of Brampton. That's why I make sure that, I have a really close relationship with the mayor and city staff because, we try our best. And we also, we're grinding here too, Yeah, we don't have the CN Tower. We have some awesome stuff here too. So that's why I rep Brampton so hard.
What is the connector for you? For me, I grew up in Scarborough, and STC is one of them for me. And the Malvern Town Library was something for me because it just had revamped when I had just turned, I think, 12.
Okay.
So I got to experience a whole fresh library. And when the city revamps a library, they don't do a little thing. They actually kind of really upgrade it and have couches and the whole. It had a real library facility that you can go to, so that was a connector for me for Malvern at the time. What's some of the connectors to Brampton for you?
I don't know.
The first response was
honestly, that's the thing with Brampton, right?
Yeah.
And I know that the city's working really hard to change that. There really isn't, when I was growing up, I think I heard my aunt one time use this phrase to describe Brampton where it's a sleepy city. So everyone comes out of Brampton, they go to Toronto or Kitchener or wherever to go work, to go play, go church, go temple, whatever. And then they come back home to Brampton to sleep. So I really don't think right now Brampton has any connectors, but I think the city is working really, really hard to bring connectors in. So right now, 5 minutes away from my office, they're building the innovation center. And that's literally going to totally redo our Go bus station. It's taking up a massive part of the downtown Brampton core. And we have Ryerson coming in. Ryerson's already there. But I think other universities are coming in. Founders Institute is coming in, which is a pretty cool Silicon Valley accelerator. So I think right now we don't really have any connectors, to be honest. I wouldn't say Bramley City Center is the place to be, but I think they're working on building that literally right now as we speak. So I think the innovation center or the innovation district that we're building, I think that will be a connector in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, Brampton's on the rise. I go there every single week.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have some people I go see there. So I love it. I love Brampton. I love driving. It's so peaceful.
Don't be extra like that.
I'm not lying to you.
You love Brampton, bro?
Bro, I actually rate it. If I were to live somewhere, I don't know, maybe it's because the places I go there. So I know my way around. But
where do you go? Yeah.
Via Rosedale. It's a new up and coming neighborhood. It's close to the soccer city. It's the city, the soccer center.
Okay.
Yeah. So the people I see live in that area. So I actually like it. There's grocery stores, nice parks and everything.
Okay.
So it's a residential area.
It's a residential area.
Yeah,
You like a residential area?
After
that's the thing.
I'm trying to understand.
There's so many there's so many residential areas. There's so much. It's filled with houses, and that's so annoying. It's filled with houses, and I personally find that super annoying. But
I honestly think it's a missed opportunity for commercial real estate because with so many houses there and everyone not having to travel, there's a missed opportunity, even in Scarborough, I believe as well, where there's people that want to do things and have to travel a long way to do that thing. You know, if I want to go to not just a movie, but somewhere where I can actually have fun, like a Dave and Buster's. There's none of that in Brampton or Scarborough. There isn't like a actual roller palace, or it was one in Saga, but not in Brampton. I don't believe there's no real activities that can build community in the neighborhood. So there's a real opportunity there if anyone's listening. But let's talk more business and get into the shit. So,
let's get into the Christina
audience. Could you give us like a 1 minute pitch of yourself, or like a quick elevator pitch on what the Christina Gwira brand is and the Noya Designs agency?
Cool. So like Christina Gwira, like it's really simple. It's not even like 1 minute. Like I'm a WordPress web designer. That's just who I am. That's what I do. But Noya Designs, it's a digital design and marketing company, and we create branding and digital design assets through a digital, diverse, and inclusive lens. So we focus on 6 main areas. That's web, branding, social, paid media, photo, and video. And we use those 6 outlets to help organizations and solopreneurs basically stake their claim on their digital real estate. So, yeah.
Nice. So how long have you been in business?
Oh, God. That's such a long question. So I myself have been in business since 2009. So Noya Designs is not my first company. It's my second company. Well, that's my second company. So my first company was in telecommunications, and I took that over in 2009. It was called Eldan Telecom. And I failed at that shit really bad. Like it was really, really bad. Like I was not good at that at all. And so what started happening was I started using web and graphic design to kind of supplement the negative losses that the telecommunications business was happening. Except what ended up happening was my web design business started growing faster than this telecommunication business was growing. And eventually I had to face the fact that maybe I should probably go with a business that's actually bringing in positive revenue as opposed to negative losses. So after 10 years, I shut down that business last year. And I would say I've been running Noya Designs full time, like this year. But I would say Noya Designs itself was like registered and became a company in 2016.
Okay, so you've been in business for a while now. Yeah. What would you say was going wrong with telecommunications company, excuse me?
I think it's a big thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about. There was no sales. Like I wasn't selling at that time. I was really young. So I started that business. I didn't start the business. I took it over from my dad when I was 21 years old. And I had no background in business at all. Like at the time, all I was doing in the business was doing like customer service and like repairing phones and learning more about graphic and web design and learning how like to program and how to code. So I really didn't know anything about running a business. And one place that I really struggled was like with making sales, because like picture this, I'm literally in Southern Ontario. My dad was like one of the very few Black men in telecommunications, specifically on the international side. Now he's out of the picture. I've replaced him, and I'm the only Black woman under 25 into the telecommunications in Southwestern Ontario. So there was like no one to teach me, no one to help me. There was no allies. There was no nothing. There was no diversity and inclusion. It was just like this little Black girl, like going into like Pakistani shops, collecting her money for her calling cards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Southwest Ontario, which city is that in Southwest Ontario?
I would say like Hamilton-ish.
Hamilton, okay.
Yeah. So we moved there when we first immigrated to Canada. And then my dad's business kind of spanned from like Scarborough to like Hamilton, Stony Creek, and like everything in between.
Okay, so now you are working in this business. This sounds so interesting. I actually don't know this about you. So you're in this telecommunication company for 10 years, essentially.
Yeah.
All right. What were some of the ups and downs in that business?
Yo, that business was just downs, bro.
That's hilarious. It was strictly just downs.
But
I'm guessing you must have learned a lot though when it comes to communicating with people, because you said that you were walking into Pakistani shops, having to collect money and stuff. So that must have been really a strong way to develop your communication, because you can't just be like, "Hey, I want all my money." You gotta like actually kind of converse, right? So
not really. It depends.
Really?
Like I did a really poor job about it. Like I was.
Okay, so
I
maybe
was
this
not,
is why it was famous.
I was not good at that at all. Because like I was so young, and again, like telecommunications is dominated by men. There are no women in telecom at all, period. None. Like it's not like tech. It's a part of tech, but it's not like the cool and sexy part of tech. It's like old school, like people who have been in telecom for like 20, 30 plus years. It's not like new and exciting, like UI, UX and all that stuff. Kind of. So there's like these older heads in telecom, and like I had to walk into conference rooms at like Bell Canada and be like, yo man, like I can't pay my bill this month. Like what you saying? Like, can you give me an extension? And they'll be like, nah. And so that's the kind of like, and at that time I really didn't know how to communicate and how to like be like, yo, I can give you like 30 now and like 70 like in 3 months kind of situation. Like those negotiation techniques I learned on the fly towards the end of my tenure running that company. Like for a majority of the time I was running that business, it was a loss. I got into so much debt and I lost like all my customers. I lost all my resellers. But one thing I can say though is like I never lost my respect. Like everybody who I worked with, like till this day will always say good things about me and my business practices. And I think that's one thing that kind of transcends sectors. You need to like your word needs to be your bond. Like your reputation is so important. Like I can roll up to any one of those stores or any one of those people and be like, yo, like I have a new business idea. Do you want to invest? And I know they'll give me that money. It's really important to make sure that communication is important, but I didn't learn or fully grasp that until the end of that business, essentially.
So, Christina, what was the problem you wanted to solve with starting your business?
Which one?
Noya Designs.
At the time, there was no problem. And that was an issue for a very long time. Like at the time, it was literally just make money at Noya Designs so I could funnel that money into Eldan Telecom. Like that was it. The problem was keep Eldan afloat. That was the problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How successful was it then? And like, what was the transition like after you stopped the telecommunications company?
Like I said before, I stopped the telecommunications company just last year.
Yeah.
But like running both of them side by side I should have stopped way sooner. And I did try like many times to like stop, but it was just, there was a lot of pushback from family on doing that whole thing. Cause it was like, you're destroying the family legacy. You're destroying what I built in this country. And it's like, yo, bro, like you don't pay any of these bills. I do. I'm determining whether or not we're keeping this thing afloat or not. So because of that, I had to kind of balance both of those. And the truth is it wasn't really that balanced at all. So it wasn't until last year where I was like, yo, it's a new decade. Like we're not taking no prisoners into 2020. Like, so that's when I killed Eldan Telecom essentially.
I remember hearing on the social media that there was like a problem that went on as well.
Regarding
like the communications, like something what happened, like a manual problem, something like that. I think you remember you posting it on your stories or something around
so what happened, yes, you know what, you have a great memory. So in September 2019 my servers got hacked for the first time in like 7 years. No, that's extra 5 years. And when it happened, I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this anymore. Like hacking is so frustrating and it's so demoralizing because you need to go into the server and you need to essentially debug code and debug hardware. And it was just really stressful and I hated the way that made me feel. So that was actually the event that happened. And that was when I decided, you know what, this is it. I am not doing this anymore. I'm not carrying this legacy into 2020 because no one is helping me with this. That made my anxiety go through the roof. Like, I had sleepless nights, and it was a horrible experience. And that experience in September last year really is what forced me to close down the business, to settle up, find out exactly where we're standing, and like move from there. So yeah, that's a very astute observation.
No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do the best for Christina.
Yeah.
So with anxiety, one thing I see that you brought that up. How have you been dealing with that as an entrepreneur? You know, because
therapy, bro. Like, as Black people, we don't want to talk about that. I mean, like, we want to be like, depending on where you're from, it's like, oh, you know, just pray to Jesus, just go mosque, you know, go talk to your mom. It's not like that. You need to do both of them. So for me, therapy really, really helped. Getting therapy and even being able to get to a stage in my business where I could pay out of pocket for therapy was like a massive breakthrough for me. So when I went to therapy, I was able to learn techniques, and I feel like super blessed because my therapist is, number one, she's Black, number two, she's African, and number three, she's a woman. So it's very, very easy for me to talk to her and for me to get the help that I need. So that really was a very, very big thing in helping me manage my anxiety.
Any practices you'd like to share for our audience?
No, not really. Like, I don't have practices, to be honest. It's kind of like, okay. I really don't. It's just like, I think the one practice that I think can help people who suffer from anxiety is setting boundaries and finding out what you want and then work from there. So for example, if you get anxiety sending out invoices, you think about, what do you want? I want to make money. I want to have money in my bank account. So work backwards from there. And then that's how you can kind of address the anxiety you may feel sending out an invoice. So I think that's the one practice that I do, is like work backwards from like what I want. And like when I see like a full plan that's clear, I become less anxious. So I guess I do have something to share on that point.
That was a big gem. Thank you. One thing that I can add to that on my end has been actually feeling the emotion. Like as a Black man, like of course we're taught to be super stoic and not feel emotion or not talk to anybody. So one thing I've started doing, I actually haven't told anybody this, is like open up my voice notes and just like talk everything out that I'm feeling, then just delete the shit.
That's cool. I might try that.
Yeah, because it helps you just get it out in the moment. Especially during COVID, there's nobody here, so I'm just like, dog, this, and just let it all out. You know, then it's all right. Just delete it.
I do the same thing with that journaling, with writing.
Then you just like crush it up.
I crush it up and don't even look at it again, and it helps. You know,
for sure.
Whether I'm back in the building, guys.
Awesome.
Little technical difficulty on my end, but we're back.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into websites, SEO. As a quick little icebreaker into web design.
Cool.
What platform do you find best for e-commerce? Shopify, WooCommerce, Squarespace, or Wix? Let me finish my
She's just straight to the point, man.
Straight to Shopify all day, every day. All right, what makes Shopify so much better than the competitors?
They're always changing, and it's always to the betterment of merchants and developers, like always. So just this week or so, Facebook Shops came out, and Shopify is working on that. A couple of weeks ago, they launched their own like Amazon, basically with all of their merchants being able to like have this Amazon-like outlet for potential buyers. When Instagram shopping first came out, where you can like tag a product on Instagram, Shopify got it first. So from the point of the entrepreneur, from the merchant, from the person who wants to sell their product, Shopify is like always the best alternative. Now, one thing I don't like about Shopify is I feel like it's really like hard to customize. And I don't know Liquid that well, and that's the language that most Shopify themes are built in. So I'm not actually going in and like hacking up code and stuff like that. So that's my like one gripe with them. Apart from that, like if you're running an online store and if your business side is pretty good, then by getting a Shopify store, you can definitely like make some money like that. So it's always Shopify. Yeah.
No doubt. Oh, and what about you? How come you chose Shopify?
Oh man, like I'll tell you this. I tried all the platforms. Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, WordPress actually. Early on, WordPress was my first one, but I found about Shopify, like I love the apps. The apps are just amazing, right? And I think that's the competitive advantage that Shopify has over everyone else.
I think their apps are like on par with what's in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the way they've made e-commerce very accessible for people, I think that that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And also the fact that they like are always on the cusp of e-commerce. Like I feel like WordPress is always playing catch up to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like things like Magneto and like BigCommerce, they're just lifting the dust right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I agree.
Got you. For someone starting off an e-commerce company, what suggestions would you have for them when they're setting up their e-commerce shop on Shopify?
Are they doing it themselves or are they hiring like
themselves?
Okay.
Yeah.
If they're doing it themselves, get organized before you even touch Shopify. So that means like get your product descriptions, get your product titles, get your product photos done professionally, like figure out if you're going to use like SKUs. Those are the kind of things. Figure out your shipping. Like shipping is so important. Like figure that stuff out. Like, are you going to do Canada Post? Are you going to do FedEx? Like whoever you're going to do, like figure that stuff out before you even like touch your Shopify installation. That was like my base thing I would recommend.
With people building like their websites these days, there's a big emphasis on brand, right?
Yeah.
And brand building. And, you really help a lot of people with their brands. So when someone's starting out, what are some of like the key principles that you can tell someone to really help them solidify their brand and properly communicate that through their website?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that like brand is like I think people have made the word brand this all-inclusive thing, but there's so many different aspects to brand. I think what a lot of people focus on the most is the visual aspect of it. So like your colors, your fonts and all that kind of stuff. But I think people forget to talk about like their target demographic, and they forget to talk about their brand voice and like who they're talking to, what are their needs, meeting those kind of things. So I think it's really important to do that homework first, and make sure that you're really clear on that. Because for example, if you're trying to do beauty and you're bringing in like friggin' the color orange, like no one, like it doesn't really resonate depending on who your age group is, right? So if you're trying to say you're going to sell, like you're going to be a beauty brand for women over 50, like they're not going to understand or resonate with like hot pink and glitter. They may resonate with like other things. They may resonate as opposed to like, oh yeah, matte lipstick. They may want like, I want like anti-aging stuff. I want stuff that gets rid of my wrinkles, that kind of a situation. I think people need to not focus so heavily on the visual aspects of brand, but should focus more on building a strategy and then inputting their visual brand into it. So I think that's really important when it comes to like, especially if you're going to be doing like drop shipping, like that's really important.
Speaking of colors, there's like a psychology behind colors, right?
Yeah.
And as a designer, right, do you recommend certain colors based on the psychology of like how it makes people feel when they see that color for certain brands?
I don't do that. Like,
you don't do that, right?
What I do is I look at who the audience is for a particular client, and I think about what they would like, and I merge that kind of with what the client wants as well. Like, funny enough, like right now I'm dealing with a client who I did not do this with, and I'm paying for it. So she's like this, like super, like professional. She's like a really accomplished TV producer, essentially. And she wants to do this like bubblegum pink color theme. And I'm like, girl, you're like 40. Like, that don't even make sense. Like you've produced so many shows. You're going on reality TV in September. Where are you going with bubblegum pink? Like that doesn't, like, it doesn't speak well of you. It makes you look very, very childish. So,
but didn't start to ask pushback. Didn't Oprah have bubblegum pink at one point?
I don't think she did.
Like it wasn't bubblegum. It was pink. But correct me if I'm wrong.
It could have been pink, but to be honest, I never
Bubblegum
really
pink
got into Oprah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, man.
I never really watched a show like that. Yeah,
she's not a demographic, but just thinking back to my mom's, because you think she's in that demographic, right? Of like the Oprah demo, right? So I was like,
exactly. And she's just like, like pink and like flowers and flirty and like city girl. I'm just like, yo, girl, like, you're 40, like this don't even match. Like you have like
city girl
Rogers and Bell coming onto your website to try and hire you to host things. Like when they see this, they're gonna think you're like childish. So, but I dropped the ball on that part because I just wanted to sign her up real fast. And so like I dropped the ball and I didn't like properly convey that to her. So she's gonna get her like girly website and like I know it's gonna flop. But anyway, moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
That was very real. I like it. All right. So one thing that you know really well is SEO.
Yo, let me say something about SEO real quick. I know SEO, but it's not actually a service I offer. So let me tell you about this whole SEO thing, because my sister is really mad at me about this.
Okay.
And I'm going to share it on this podcast. I'm good at SEO. I'm good at SEO for me. I don't do SEO for people. I don't sell SEO things. I don't optimize anything for anyone. But what happened was like 2 months ago, I went on this really popular Women Who Freelance Toronto Facebook group. It has like 5,000 female freelancers in it. And I went on a rant about SEO. And from that, I got like hundreds of followers, and everybody has been like asking me to come into their podcast, come into their Instagram live, come into their TV show, talk about SEO. Like, bro, I promise you, like, I know SEO. I love SEO. I don't do SEO. I don't sell SEO. I can teach you SEO. My course is coming out soon, but SEO is actually like not something I want to be known for. It happened completely by mistake.
What happened?
Yeah.
Completely by mistake.
But now that we have you here, though, right? I mean, I'm someone who wants to really learn about SEO since I write a lot of blogs. I started writing a lot of blogs. What is SEO for the people who are listening right now? Like, how do you break down what SEO is?
All right. So, like, really simply, SEO firstly stands for search engine optimization. And that's all that you're doing. You're essentially making your content better so that search engines can find it and like it. And if they like it, they rank you higher in the search engine list for a particular keyword or keyword phrase.
So what are some practices to really, if you have a Shopify store, how do you make it more SEO friendly?
So first and foremost, stop writing 2 sentences in your product descriptions. Let's start there. Like, write actual content and write actual copy. SEO is all about words. It's about words. It's not about pictures. It's not about video. It's about words. So the most important thing that you should have on your site to rank well for SEO is words. So if you have a product, let's say you have this mouse, right? You want to find a keyword phrase for people who want this particular mouse. And this is where brand comes in again. Because if you're just drop shipping mouses everywhere, like, you're going to have a lot of problems optimizing your site for mouses or mice, whatever. So you need to find and attach a particular brand to the mouse that you're drop shipping, as an example. You need to give it some value. You need to give it a story. You need to make sure that this mouse is going to help a certain group of people. Why? Because then you can figure out and create and craft keyword phrases that people who are looking for this particular type of mouse would actually be searching into Reddit or Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or Google and hop across your product page. So the very first thing I would always say is like, yo, please, like, stop it with the 2-line product descriptions. You should have at a very least 400 words on your product page talking about your product. And of those 400 words, 1% of those words should be your keyword phrase. So if you're not doing that, like, you're leaving money on the table.
There's also another thing with links with SEO, right? A lot of people backlinks. Can you talk a little bit about that and tell us, like, how backlinks work with SEO?
So essentially, backlinks is actually what gave my like #1 video on YouTube the amount of power it has right now. It's currently at like 1.5 million views, all through search engine optimization. So the way I did that was I typed in one keyword phrase. In this case, I think it was DIY stain remover. And at that time, like the first page of Google, I just went on all those blogs and put a meaningful comment with a link back to my YouTube video. So all of these websites are like the top websites regarding DIY stain remover. So they have a higher authority in Google's algorithm. So Google knows that these websites, they know what they're talking about. They have great content. Their content is updated regularly. A lot of people are going there. So they have these high ranking positions when it comes to DIY stain remover. So by attaching my link to their website, I get some of their traffic. And so Google also knows that like, yo, this link is coming to this website. This website has a higher authority. Let me rank this particular link higher. So that's how backlinking works. You link to something, and then the authority of that link helps bring up your authority.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So now, how could like a person use that for starting their business? Because eventually, that's not a scalable action, right? You don't.
You don't. Like, SEO is something, honestly, like you need money. If you're gonna hire someone, you need money to fuel it, because it costs money, and you're not gonna see the results today. You're going to see the results 6 to 12 months from now. Yeah. If you're doing it yourself, you need to have a lot of patience. And if you have patience, you can definitely use SEO, again, in the long run to drive traffic and to drive people to your website. If you're just starting a business, I would not recommend investing money in SEO. I would invest time in SEO. So take like a month out of you, take an hour out of your month and use that to like update your About Us page. Check your links on your websites. Make sure your images are like optimized for proper keyword phrases. That's the kind of stuff you should be doing on a consistent basis on your websites. That's doing your bit for your SEO. But if you're thinking of using SEO to drive traffic and to get leads or to get money for your website that you just launched 2 days ago, sweetie, you're not going to get anything at all.
One thing I've always wondered is like, and Alex and I always talk about this, is when you search up like your brand name on Google, you might see your website, but you'll see like all the different links to your website in like search 2, 3, 4, 5. But you want to like, when you search on like, let's say Nike, you see the sublinks underneath the columns, right? How do you get your website to have those to pop up first and also have those sublinks underneath like your main website?
So you need to have more backlinks. So you need to have more websites referring back to your website. And to get those columns, you need to make sure you have your site map installed and created, and make sure the hierarchies are done properly within there. And just make sure you resubmit that to Google afterwards. And like, again, it's something that happens over time. Over time, Google will continually search through your website, and then Google will automatically populate those things for you. Solid.
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted. And we've been at this hustle over everything for a year, and like every time I'm doing the backlinks, I'm doing everything, I'm like, why isn't this thing catching up, right?
It really should have shown up by now, to be honest with you. So you may want to like maybe resubmit your site map.
Submit that, gotta do that.
Okay, speaking of which, it was a great segue. One thing we want to get into is a tear down of our website.
It's not a tear down, man. It's like a rocket.
You're grading us. You're the teacher. You're the prof.
Sure.
Most definitely. To bring you guys value, we're putting ourselves out there and making ourselves vulnerable.
Exactly.
This is for you guys to have some value. So what we did is we sent Christina our website for hustleovereverything.co. Make sure you check that out and subscribe to our email list, because we have a great email newsletter.
It's fire.
Yes. So far, we already have over 2,000 users on our list. So make sure to subscribe. We have a lot coming.
Actually, close to 3K, bro. So
close to 3. Thank you. Good correction. All right. So, Christina.
Yeah.
Have you gotten the chance to go through the website?
Yeah.
All right. So, the floor is yours.
To be honest though, like I thought y'all wanted to like put it up here and I'll do it like live or stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I literally just looked at your homepage. Like that was all.
All right. We can do that too. Here, let me share my screen real quick.
Okay, cool.
throw this up.
This is gonna be fun. I'm so excited for this because I thought that website is fire. I designed the website. Christina's just quiet right now. She just knows she's about to go to work.
No.
And you gotta screen share it.
So for the listeners, right now we're walking Christina through the Hustle Over Everything website and just showing her what we've done so far so we can get some of her feedback, see what she thinks. So yeah, that's like more of the website right there. So what'd you think?
It's really boring.
It's really boring.
Yeah.
Talk. Let's go. All right. Give us more. All right.
I don't know, like the name of your brand is super strong. And I feel like I just didn't see that in the website. Like Hustle Over Everything, the logo is really strong, the brand is really strong. Like Alex, like I've seen your photos. Like, why didn't you get like models to like model a couple of the stuff? Like, why isn't that kind of stuff there?
Oh, right now it's drop shipping. Okay.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
even with drop shipping, what you like some advice, and this is from like my sister who runs like Facebook ads at the company. Like when it comes to drop shipping, again, I didn't even know this was drop ship, but I like if you notice through our conversation, I mentioned drop shipping. You need to build a brand, right? Everybody drop ships, and there's nothing wrong with drop shipping. What is wrong with drop shipping is when you're drop shipping something without building
the brand behind it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you guys have, I really love your, like yellow's my favorite color. So I immediately was drawn to the yellow. I love the color yellow, but like again, Alex, I've seen your work. I've seen your creative direction. I've seen your photography, but like, there's this massive disconnect between like the work I know you can do and like what's showing up on the site. So I really think that you need to show that, like that needs to come out on the site because that's amazing. Like I said, I've seen your work before. I don't understand why it's not on the site. You could have easily like drop shipped your entire line to yourself, done a shoot, shot some videos, put it on the website. That also helps with conversions because faces always convert better than just like standalone white background images. Like these are some of the things, like there's nothing eccentrically wrong. I don't even know if I said that right. There's nothing wrong with the site. It's a very clean site. It's a very cool site. But like if you're trying to use it to sell products, you need to put that visual aspect into it, even if it's drop shipping. Like no one should be able to tell that. No one should be able to know that because you've created content, you've created photo and video, which you are more than capable of doing. You should put that onto the site. I think that's the biggest thing on the store. I think everything else is fairly standard, like the footer and everything like that. The only thing I would say is that on the homepage, the blog blurbs, maybe put like a darker overlay over them because sometimes the white text can get lost. Honestly, that's like my only qualm with the site. I think it's a really good site. But like that whole brand thing, like that whole element is missing when it shouldn't be because I know that you can do it.
Got you.
I'll also say this. I don't want to put Alex under the bus here because I know Alex is, and his work is outstanding and what he does, but it was me. So I know you might think it's Al, but like I'll take it was me who did it.
So you told him not to do the photo shoot?
Well, no, we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet, right? We started this year and we've been really focusing on the podcast. So the merch isn't really our main priority. It's more.
So why did you put the merch up?
It's just like another revenue stream we're really creating, right?
Are you making money from it?
We know we've sold some items, but not like where it's like a full, like this is like part of our business. We're building an audience and also a newsletter, and the product is going to be like part of the referral system we're going to create just to get more people to come back and read our newsletter and all the other platforms we have coming down the line. But the merch is just, as we build our fan base, something that they can latch on to as they grow with us.
Okay.
So I'll give more context there as well. When I joined the pod this year, it was probably about 2 weeks before COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks most.
Yeah, the exact 3 weeks most before COVID. So this has definitely been in the plans. It's literally just been executed. So we actually ordered items. That's either tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're right on time with your critique. Because that was going to be the result of us ordering the items to actually do our own shoot and come up with the creative for the website. So you're actually right on point with that. So
yeah, we don't want to drop ship. We want to build a fan base where we actually have this inventory in house, and we can actually create our own content and have faster shipping as well at the same time. Yeah. But thank you for the feedback though. Like,
there wasn't much. Like, I didn't really say much. Like, that was great.
Okay, so all right. So was this the product page that you found was boring? Was there anything else that stood out to you?
Oh, no, I felt the whole website was boring.
The whole website was boring. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So good to make that distinction. Okay. So what made the website boring? Was it the typography on the website? Or what was the, yeah, exactly. Let's dig in more. I want to pull away some of those layers.
First, Al, let me ask a question before. Let's define what makes an exciting website.
Yeah.
I think once we actually clarified those standards of what makes a website exciting, which other people can apply, then we can see how we can make Hustle Over Everything
It's like, I would say, creative. So like,
creative.
How are people using photo and video on their site? Because it is important. So if you are selling a physical product, how are you displaying that product to people? That's what makes it exciting. If you're selling a service, are you like showcasing the results, whether through video or through infographics or graphs or the written word and typography and stuff like that? I think with your site, honestly, like, I like the typography. Like, I think the fonts are great, to be honest with you, but I just feel that the creative is really missing. And I think it's a shame because I really like the name and I really like the logo that you guys have created, but it's like, I'm not seeing that on the site.
So you feel like adding more images and video to really...
I don't think it's adding more. I think it's replacing what's there right now. Like, for example, you had that graphic, which was like their Air Forces on the white background. I thought that was really boring. And like, the Air Forces kind of melded into the white background. I thought you could have picked a different photo. I'm not necessarily saying that every single piece of content should be curated and should only be done in-house. I'm not saying that. I think just maybe the choices should be different. I'm not sure whether or not you're going for like a more grunge and bolder look or for like a really like sleek and modern look. I'm not really sure, but I think determine which one you're going for and then pick images and photos and create videos and content that kind of work with that, because I think you can go either way. You can go like the really like rugged, husky kind of way. Like, I don't even know if that makes sense or not, but like, think of like Ford F-150 thing. Like, you're familiar with that creative, right?
It's like tough, yeah.
Yes.
Tough, bold, masculine,
way,
yeah.
Right? Or you can go like a really like clean and sleek kind of method. Like, think like Tesla, right?
Okay.
So I think you guys kind of have to figure out what that is and then feed that into all the creative on the site. Personally, if you decide to go with more of a Ford F-150, then I'd advise like maybe changing the fonts to kind of match that. Not necessarily doing anything crazy, but even just like changing the font weights, making the font weight a bit bolder kind of evokes that emotion of like toughness, right?
Okay.
Or you can change the font weight another way, make it maybe more lighter, and that's a bit more sleek and stuff like that. So I think that's the main thing. I feel like there's like this disconnect between the name you have, which is awesome, the logo you have, which is great. I personally love the colors because yellow is my favorite color. Yeah. But it's just like the visuals of the website, I think, are doing it a disservice. I think like the layouts are fine. I think the only thing I thought was weird was like, I feel like the logo that's on the about page doesn't match the logo that's on the top of the site. Like, maybe y'all should like make sure that that's kind of connected. It looked different.
Consistent? Okay.
Consistent? Yeah. Okay.
Maybe also something you could try is using a page builder. I know Shopify is releasing like their own like integrated page builder in the next couple of months, but maybe use something like Pagefly to kind of build out your pages a bit more. So it's it's like an app, and it's like a landing page builder, but you can use it to literally rebuild every single page on your Shopify store, including product pages, the homepage, blog page, etc. So if you're looking to have more flexibility on the platform, you may want to consider using something like that to be able to really like go out there and do some crazy stuff. But that's what I think. Like I said, I like the visual brand. I just feel that the creative is sorely lacking.
Got you. All right, that's a fair critique.
Fair critique, yeah.
But then again, like y'all were working on that anyway, and then COVID happened. So,
hey, a lot of people's businesses got halted by this whole COVID, right? So, we're just joining the club.
Yeah, no, it's more so pivoting and adjusting to it, you know. So like shipping times for the product have slowed to like the slowest.
Yeah, 3
even
weeks,
with other things, you know, like the clippers I'm trying to get to shave my hair, like anything I've ordered has been like drastically slower.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I ordered a new laptop at the beginning of the month, and it just got here like yesterday. So
damn, 20 days.
Yeah,
that's intense. But yeah, all right. Let's dive back in. So, what do you think makes a quality website? Is it the creative, the UX? Let's dive in.
I think all of it. Like, I think you really can't have you can have a website that's completely text and with just typography and like playing around with fonts, it could look absolutely amazing and beautiful. I think one thing I really don't like is I don't like people who design for designers. So I don't like web designers who make this like crazy website only to like impress other designers and completely forget the client or the actual person or the people who are coming to actually use the website. Like that's one thing I really, really don't like. So I think it all ties in together. I think not one aspect is better than the other. I definitely think you can, depending on what your brand is, you can definitely dial back on creative if you have like really strong typography and really great content. Because let's not forget, like content is also a really important part of a website. And I think people really forget about that. They spend so much time doing product photography and doing like video that they forget that your website is not only photos and videos, there's also words and stuff like that. So I think all of it is important, but if I was to rank it, I definitely think user experience is number one. I think that number two would be creative. Number three, I would say content, and then everything else kind of after that.
People also talk about like website speed, right? Because speed also plays into customer experience and how well like your page loads. Because if right now we're in an era, if something doesn't work, we're like immediately click the X button and we exit the page. What are some tools that people can use to really test their website speed and see if it's actually like fast on mobile and desktop?
So I know that Google has like a page speed analyzer. That's like number one. I hate it though. Like I could never get things past the green line ever. Like
it's bullshit. It's bullshit. They'll rank Apple website like a 70%. So I'm like, okay, at that. It's a good for the audience. Just take that into consideration.
Context,
But I think another really good one I think is like unbiased and I think is actually really, really in depth is called gtmetrics.com. And that is like really like crazy. Like it really goes in depth as to like what needs to be done and what can be done on your website. Like I know especially for like WordPress sites, it's like a beast. Like it'll tell you like this particular image can be compressed down further 50% kind of. So it really goes in depth. So I love that website. I love using that resource to find out my page speed, find out how heavy my pages are, and basically know what to like optimize and to check for websites across the board. When it comes to like WordPress, I have like a couple of like plugins. I don't really know much about like Shopify optimization, but GTmetrix, like it doesn't matter what build your site is on, gtmetrics.com will help you.
Solid.
What apps do we suggest for WordPress?
There's so many. Ones that I've used that I really like include Auto Optimize. I like using Smush for images that helps you like compress images. There's this really great plugin called Asset Speedup, I think, And essentially what's really cool about it is that like on every single page, you can determine which plugins and which scripts are activated. So for example, if you have WooCommerce on your site, WooCommerce is a super heavy plugin, but people don't need to use or access WooCommerce scripts or files on the like homepage, the about page, or the contact page. So with whatever, I don't remember the name, Asset Speedflow or whatever, you can literally tell, like, say to each page, like, don't load anything for WooCommerce, don't load anything for WooCommerce, don't load anything for WooCommerce, and that automatically makes your pages much faster because it's only loading the scripts that each particular page actually needs to provide content and information to people. I really love that plugin. What else is there?
Yoast.
I hate Yoast. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I think it's really heavy. I think it's really heavy, and I'm looking at other things. I've heard a lot of good things about Rank Math, and this other one that came out like really recently and it's doing like really, really good. I think it was Rank Math, but I want to switch because I don't know. I don't like it.
Oh, so you use Yoast and you hate it?
I use Yoast. Like I only use Yoast and I don't like it because I really feel like it brings down the speed of a site drastically.
It has affected my speed on my website, but it has affected SEO as well, though. That's the only thing. And it does, for the audience listeners, Yoast is a plugin, WordPress plugin that allows you to add meta descriptions to your website. And it has like easy UI or UX to add them in. It's very intuitive, and it also has red lights, yellow lights, and green lights to detail how well you've added in your keywords. So to make sure you're ranking well on every page that you create or post that you make. So yeah, it's a great plugin in that sense, but in terms of site speed, it can affect your website.
I feel like it's so heavy, like so heavy, but what can you do?
What can you do? Actually, what can you do? Like you said, you can use Smush, which has helped. And what else can you do? Oh, also compress your videos.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's a big one because videos are way heavier than your images. So always be sure to compress your videos before you upload them, just because it can make a real difference, like a strong difference between.
I would even go as far as like don't upload video to your site. Like upload it to YouTube, unlist it, and then copy link back into your website.
Yeah.
It's like uploading your heavy like video is just like, even if it's like 5 MB, that's like way too much. And like Smush really helps like compress the images as well. I think those are the ones like I really like. And I think if you're not going to use any of those, you could also use like some caching plugins. So like WP Cache, is that what it's called? I don't remember.
I think WP Cache is a good one. One thing I was going to mention is making your video into a GIF, like a extended GIF. So it can if you're not trying to have like a super intense video, if you just want to have something light, and you want to have it quick, a GIF can really save the site speed and still get the video through. So it's still like a eye-catching website and eye-catching content. So it's one thing to add as well. You know. Yeah.
Nice.
But I'm not a web designer. I do it upon request, but I'm not. That's not my cup of tea.
It's not your forte, bro.
Well, I learned
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not my forte. I like the Kia for it. Never mind. That was a bad dad joke. That was horrible.
That's such a good. I loved it though.
You love that one?
I like it. I like the corny jokes, bro. That's my thing, man.
All right, so let's get into the design firm business.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Right, so let's talk about the business model that you have. What's the business model of a design firm, and where do you see it going?
That's a hard question. I don't even really know. Like I don't know. Like what are the different like business models out there?
So there's like a service business model where you have a cost of the service, and you charge a price on top of that for your service. That's kind of the business model. Or there's a back-end model where you have a service. Let's say you create a website from scratch, and then you have them on Bluehost. And Bluehost gives you a recurring commission per month for signing that person up on their website. So you get both the service fee.
Bluehost, by the way. Like Bluehost is so shit.
Oh man, shout out to Bluehost. Nah, I'm not. I haven't tried Bluehost at all. I'm on GoDaddy and
Their shit too. Like
GoDaddy ain't that bad. Stop it.
GoDaddy's actually
Stop it.
blessed.
You just hating at that point. GoDaddy is not that bad.
Well, GoDaddy. Let me tell you something. One of my clients,
let's go.
She was on like their managed service, so they're doing all the updates for her and stuff. We could not back up and restore her website. We had to use their backup and restore stuff. And then when we deleted, there's this file that managed GoDaddy sites have called gd-config.php. If you remove that file from a website that you backed up and restored from Google managed services, the site will crash. That's what I learned, and that's when I knew that GoDaddy was a shit. Because they literally want to own your entire content. And on top of that, they overstuff their servers. So they have like so many people on dead-end servers, and they never do upgrades to their own hardware. So they're shit. Don't use them, listeners. Use SiteGround or A2 hosting if you're using WordPress.
SiteGround's decent. I've used SiteGround.
Yeah.
That was a really in-depth answer though, so I commend you for that.
Yeah.
Definitely experienced it, but I haven't had any bad experiences with GoDaddy. That's why I say that.
Same here, yeah.
Yeah, but since you're saying, after hearing that, I'm like, okay, she has a point there.
Yeah, like the one thing I'll give GoDaddy, they have the best support in the industry. Period. Like nobody's beating GoDaddy support. We could call GoDaddy right now.
That's a fact.
And we'll get somebody. But like, I think the reason they provide such amazing support is because they know that you're gonna have problems.
Shit. That's funny. HostGator is decent too. HostGator is decent.
Yeah, I like them. They're Canadian, right? They're the Canadian one, or is that Host Papa? One of the host websites is Canadian. They're actually in Oakville. So. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. But yeah. So in terms of the business, how do you see the business growing?
We're growing right now, G. I really think that we're gonna grow in terms of like we need to hire more people. Like right now it's 3 of us. And like right now as we're talking, like every single person is working on at least one website. Mm-hmm. And that's like way too much. So like my Facebook ads person is working on a Shopify website. My junior graphic designer is working on
a website.
No, I was just because I have a board here with all the sites, so I'm looking at like what he has to do. Yeah, he's also working on a website. Like I'm working on 2 websites right now, like 3 if I'm being like honest. So every person on my team is working on a website. So we're definitely going to expand by Q4. We need to take on like more permanent people or like get subcontractors because like we're not at capacity yet. Like I told my team, I'm like, yo, when my right eye starts twitching, that's when we're at capacity and that's when we need to get someone new.
No. What?
So she's going crazy, bro.
What kind of KPI is that? Yo, team, all right,
Christina.
All right. When you're tired? Nah, you're not at capacity.
Yo, when this eye starts twitching, we're at capacity, bro. Like honestly, because that's like literally when the stress is too much. Mm-hmm. Then that's what we're gonna hit. But like, so based off of what you described, we're a service-based business. We're a service-based model, and we provide everything in-house, and that was super important to me. Because I like when I started web design, like the people overseas were winning. Like when I started like my design business, I was like advertising strictly on Kijiji because that's all I knew. And like Kijiji at that time was dominated by like overseas talent. I can't even call them talent because that's literally giving them way too much bloody credit. It was filled with designers from overseas. I'm gonna say it like that and keep it like that. Okay. But they were doing like $200 websites, $300 websites, and it's just like, yo, bro, like who is competing with that? Mm-hmm. But like overseas, $3 is a lot of money, and so right now we think Jesus, we don't like compete on those levels anymore. But like we're a service-based business, and like for us growth, like right now. Like, yo, honestly, COVID has been really, really good to us. Like, COVID has been, in my opinion, like the best thing that's happened to this company. Mm-hmm. But, like, don't publish that. It's really good for us right now. but we need to, like, we're going to need to hire on talent, like, in the next, by, like, Q4, like, most definitely.
How are you finding your customers now that you're not on Kijiji?
They're finding us, and most of the time they find us through referrals or social media, so Facebook or Instagram.
Facebook ads, Facebook groups, because I know you have a Facebook group. Or
Yo, like, we just started doing Facebook ads this month, only to build our email list. Like, we don't use Facebook ads to promote our business at all. And like I said, we literally just started doing Facebook ads, if I'm lying, 2 weeks ago. So we don't use Facebook. Like, our strategy to get clients is not through Facebook ads or Google ads or anything like that. It's just providing value. And I don't think that's really scalable. So, but
Facebook
like, so far so good. Huh?
Facebook ads is not scalable?
No, Facebook ads are obviously scalable. But I feel like what we're doing right now is not scalable. Where it's like just providing value on social media. But I mean, it's working, right? Like, we're still making money and stuff, but it's just like, yeah.
I could give some pushback there. You can definitely give value at scale. I mean, look at Gary Vee. Isn't that what he's doing?
Like,
I know he's like some of a like rare case. And like,
it's not even like a rare case. Like,
he has a huge team.
That is not like, so Gary Vee has firstly, like, how many employees that are doing all his stuff for him?
15.
You see it? 15, right? So he has people who are doing the blogs, people who are doing the video, people who are editing the video, people who are doing the hashtag research, people who are engaging. Like, you think that guy actually follows his own $1.80 rule? Of course not. Someone else is doing that for him, right? So, yeah. Like, right now, I'm trying to work less in the business and more on the business. So eventually I want to get to the point where I'm not doing any of the website work. I'm just I'm not even overseeing. I'm just the face of the company and just like promoting the business, marketing the business, and making sure our customers and clients are taken care of. That's all I want to do. Eventually.
You should check out this book called The E-Myth. Have you heard about it?
I have heard about it. Yeah.
It's actually talking about what you're talking about right now, like not working in your business, but actually working on your business. I think if you want to like create the right structure, definitely check that book out. Really,
I will totally do that.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask you is that, you provide a lot of services, right? But like, what is like your core offering service that, your clients know you for? Like when they think about Noya, like, boom, this is like one thing we can count on her for.
I think there's two. There's like full end-to-end marketing. So like you can come to Noya Designs and get everything done. Facts. Like, you can come get your website, get your branding, get your video, get your photo, get your Facebook ads, get a social media campaign going, do some video, post it on social media, get a marketing campaign, get influencers. You can do all of that with us. And then we're only 3 people. So I think there's that. And then the second thing is like websites. And most recently SEO, but we don't do SEO. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you're known for SEO.
I'm known for SEO. It's like,
crazy.
I don't do SEO. And the thing is, I also don't trust people to even outsource SEO to because.
Oh yeah. It's murky waters out there.
But yeah. So that's what we're known for. Those are 2 things we're known for, like end-to-end digital design and marketing and like WordPress websites.
How's YouTube been for you?
YouTube's awesome, bro.
I
started my YouTube channel, like, I am back. I started my YouTube channel, like, way back when, but, like, I've reignited it because I want to increase the passive income I make from YouTube. So, yeah.
So when you left it and then you came back to it and we're still making passive income? Like, what was that?
Yeah, I've been making income on YouTube for 7 years.
Damn. Okay, so what's the income like? Like, are you talking about, like,
it's not that much. The partner program on YouTube does not pay that much.
No, it does
but
not.
It covers a couple of bills. I'm not gonna lie to you. But what I'm trying to do right now is essentially establish myself as a tech influencer, with YouTube being my primary outlet. The reason for that is I feel like I could get a lot more sponsorships. And like the 2 biggest things that set me apart from most tech people is, number 1, I'm Black, and number 2, I'm a woman. So there's not that many of those out there, specifically on YouTube. Like, we got like our boy Marquez, but like there's not really that many women.
There's also a woman that was on CNBC Make It. That's like in the fintech.
Is it the New York girl we saw?
Yeah,
the
she was
coding one,
dope.
right?
Yeah,
I actually
that
saw her on
codes.
YouTube again recently. I
I
forgot
think
her
she's
name.
90K. You all should connect. You know what I'm
You
saying?
should send her my way for real.
I don't
Yeah.
know her like that, but I'll try. I'll try and do alley
Send
oop.
me a link.
Yeah, no, for
I'll reach
sure.
out to her.
All right,
Yeah,
boom.
reach out.
Yeah.
You could show her
So
this pod and be like, "Hey, I found you through this
Hmm.
pod. They're amazing."
Yeah.
we could do that. We could do that. Yeah. So right now I'm just working on getting consistent. I haven't really. Right now I'm doing a 30-day live challenge. So like right after this, I'm going to go live on like all my platforms. But I haven't really put out any curated content in a while. But I'm gonna be doing that with my new laptop. So I'm gonna like do an unboxing and stuff like that. But it's been going really well. Like the channel has been steadily growing like all of these years, and it's been steadily giving me more income. But I'm trying to make that like like I want to be able to pay a lot more with the income coming from YouTube, but especially more so, not so much through the partner program, but more so through like sponsorships and stuff like that. So yeah.
Most definitely. Would you want to use it as, since you're having it as a tech-based platform? Wouldn't you want to use it to fund the or drive clients through YouTube into the business, or no?
No, not really.
Interesting.
Not really. Like I'm not like not really. Like I think it's more so no. It's a different source of income altogether.
Got you. Keep it separate. One's personal, like one's like public speaking almost type of thing versus
exactly
business.
Yeah. So it's more so for my personal brand than for like Noya Designs brand.
Got you. Okay, cool. Working towards wrapping up here. Sorry, go ahead, Owen. I'm not cut you off.
Well, I just want to ask her, like, you've done so well for yourself, and there's a lot of people who look up to you. I mean, people who see you and you're doing well for yourself, especially as a Black woman, you're creating a business for yourself. What are some like tactical advice you can tell someone who, is like you, who wants to start this similar business? What are some key first steps that, looking back, that perhaps you made a mistake on, that if you could go back and correct them, that you can share with our audience to do when they're looking to start a design firm?
Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes, okay.
Yeah, pay your taxes.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Pay your fucking taxes.
Don't kill me.
Real talk. Yo, like when you're making money online, like it's so fast. Like it's like, okay, I'm not gonna say that because this is a public platform. But essentially, if you were like in other forms of businesses, money comes super fast to you. And sometimes when you're working online, it's the same type of situation. So because of that, you forget that you have responsibilities, not just like your bills and like your house and your car, but like to the government, right? So it's really important to make sure that you're putting that aside. I say like now with what I know now, I would definitely recommend incorporating and charging HST like as soon as you get started and remit that shit. And make sure you're like contributing to your CPP and your EI and stuff like that, because it helps you in the long run, because you're contributing to your pension, you're contributing, like, let's say, for example, something were to happen to you, you can have something to fall back on if you can't work. That's really, really important. Like, I did not do that for a very long time, and now I owe the government a lot of fucking money. So don't be dumb. I think that would be like the number one thing. The second thing would definitely be like say no a lot more than you say yes. I know like sometimes, especially as Black people, we feel that we are othered. That's the facts of the matter. We are othered. We are like at the bottom of the totem pole, like for opportunities, for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we may like reduce our standards to get ahead and specifically to get money, clients, jobs, opportunities. You don't need to do that. Like, don't do it. Like if something doesn't feel right in terms of a job, whether it's a client, whether it's a project, you don't have to do it. You can say no, and you should definitely be saying no a lot more times than you say yes.
Okay.
Contracts. Make sure you check those out. Get all that stuff checked out properly and stuff like that. Make sure your legal side is is good. And I think another thing I think a lot of people don't talk about is make sure you're always learning. Like, don't stop learning ever. Like, practice all the time. There's new stuff happening like so fast. Like right now, like a really big thing a lot of people are talking about in this space is Webflow. I personally do not plan on ever learning Webflow, but I'm getting my junior designer to learn it because I feel like what Webflow offers could be beneficial to sell a higher ticket website to clients. So never stop learning. Like, however you learn, make sure you're obviously continuing to learn, make sure you're reading up on your skills, and like practice. You have to be obsessed with the work that you're doing. Like, I think you have to be obsessed. Like, if you want to be successful, if you want this thing to pay for your family, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I work with my brother and sister. Like, my brother and sister are on payroll. I pay them. So I'm taking care of my family. Like, I'm literally building generational wealth by running my business. But that comes because I'm obsessed with like the work that I do. You need to be like that too. You need to be practicing all the time. You need to be like feeding and pouring into your team. You need to make sure you pick like the right people who have like the right mindset as you. I'm really blessed. I'm working with my brother and sister. So we have very similar mindsets. We have very similar goals. But if you're not that blessed and you can't do that, find people who like think like you, who will have the same goals as you, who want to feed into your vision if you're like the leader. These are some of the things you can do when you're starting out. So, yeah.
Sounds good. And now that you know this, like, what's the vision moving forward for your business? Like, where do you see your business growing in like the next 5 years, let's say?
I want to continue having like an all Black digital design firm.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that like everybody on this team is Black, because like, most marketing firms in Toronto are white. That's facts.
Or brown.
Or brown.
Or brown, yeah.
We don't count those ones though, but okay. But so I want to do the same thing. I want to have like my team full of Black creatives and just creating like amazing content, creating amazing digital assets for businesses and for organizations so that we don't have stupid stuff happen in marketing. Like, there's been so many areas where marketing has literally flopped and you're like, did you guys even run this by any people of color, or you just like put it out? Like, what were you thinking? Right. And it's, we want to be
lack of awareness.
Yeah. We want to be that voice and that reason where it's like, we're not just coming to consult, but we're also coming to actually implement and do the project and like pass it off. And we've been blessed to have been able to do that several times already, but we want to do it on a larger scale, on a bigger scale, on a greater scale. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
To wrap it up, what was one project that you worked on that you're proud of?
Well, there's so many. But I think one project that really changed like the vision for our company was working with the Children's Aid Society. So at one point in time, there was a task force called One Vision, One Voice, which helped Black youth in care in Ontario. So we had the opportunity to brand the entire 3-day symposium. So like from t-shirts to swag bags to like the website, the rapid report, everything. We did the whole shebang. And we were also invited to actually take part in the symposium as well. So we had a room with like 300 like Black kids in care across the province, and hearing their stories and seeing how our work impacted them directly. It was a really beautiful thing. And that was definitely one key project that we worked on where it's like, we're going to do this and we're going to help our community because nobody has us. Like, just hearing their stories of what they're going through with their family situation or lack thereof, and seeing how the work we created in like Photoshop and Illustrator, how that was impacting them and that carried on. It was amazing. And the thing is, it still continues to impact us today because one of the people we met at the symposium who was in care has now been phased out. And he is now working with, I don't know if you're aware of the organization called ACBN, and he's actually in digital design and marketing. And seeing that direct impact with somebody who, like, it's amazing. It was literally life-changing. And paid a lot of money too. So that was cool.
Amazing. Yeah. Is there anything we didn't cover in the pod that you'd like to talk about?
No. Tell people to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram.
Sounds good. Where can they find you?
So on YouTube, you can find me at Naturally Nerdful. I haven't decided whether or not I'm changing that name or not. Christina Gwira, I'm not sure. But that's where you can find me. And on Instagram, it's my full name, Christina Gwira, Gwira.
Solid.
Amazing.
For the audience, a lot of great information, especially if you're looking to start an online business. Christina definitely dropped a lot of gems on today's podcast. And one of the things I was very excited to talk to her about was SEO, and she definitely covered that. So, and our website as well. Definitely going to take her tips and implement those over the next coming months. So, Christina, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with us and talking to us about your journey into design and web design.
Amazing. Hustle of everything. We're out.
We're out.
Peace.
Peace out.